meat and suck it all day long.
And after that terribleness, what if I told you she just got in trouble for saying she fancies a 10-year-old? This is gonna be a rough one. EdenHarvz is a lifestyle TikTok influencer who the more you look at, the weirder it gets. Baths with siblings in your mid-20s, overtly sexual conversations with people who you definitely shouldn't be talking to like that, and now admitting as an adult that she fancied a 10-year-old. So hello everyone, welcome or welcome back. I am Jake Baz, and I think I've just found TikTok's new supervillain. EdenHarvz is a 26-year-old TikTok influencer focusing mainly on makeup and lifestyle content, with touches of her neurodivergence and mental health struggles sprinkled in. But as someone with ADHD and mental health struggles myself, the way that she weaponizes it really does make me scratch my head. There's loads to get through here as it does just get weirder. So I think we start with the main drama that is drowning her out right now. As this video resurfaced of her from 4 years ago, where she is alluding to being attracted to someone who she really shouldn't be as an adult. And the fallout of it all just gets worse. Just quickly, if you want more content like this, please do press the like button as it lets us know what I should post. And also a massive thank you to everyone as we have hit 50,000 subscribers on the channel. It is so amazing. It means so much to me. I truly don't really get how many people that actually is, and if you want to be for the next milestone around, hit that subscribe button too. So about a week ago, this clip did resurface, which was originally recorded in 2020 of EdenHarvz supposedly making a joke, and unfortunately it lands flat on its face.
I don't know if my account's going to be suspended for this, but I'm going to my cousin's play this evening. He's 16 and it's his school play, you know, and since he was 10, 11, I fancied his friend who plays the lead.
So there she's saying that she fancies a 16-year-old boy, but she has fancied that boy since she was 10 or 11. You've got to kind of respect the openness with that joke, that supposed joke that she has said, but it doesn't really seem like a joke, does it? Do note here that EdenHarvz is currently 26, so at the time of her saying this, she was around 20 or 19 years old. So at 2019, she's saying that she's going to a 16-year-old's play, and she fancies this 16-year-old boy who she has fancied since they were 10 or 11. It's actually mental to even say that, innit? Do note as well that EdenHarvz is a multi-million follower TikToker. She should understand that maybe joking about doing that sort of thing and fancying literal children might not be the best thing to do. But it's not only that, is it? Whether it's a joke or not, joking that you are attracted to a child when you are an adult, it's... I don't know what are you trying to paint yourself as? It genuinely baffles the mind. And when you see as well that this is not only just a one-off, this is a pattern of events, it gets even weirder.
I was about 18 when I first started watching him. The lead was 10 and I fancied him. I'm not ashamed, okay? So I'm going to take you guys to the play with me. I'm going to see The Crucible, fitting, and I'm going to show you this hottie because it's undeniable, guys. I'm a cougar.
Guys, I'm sorry, but come on.
I'm a cougar. Yeah, there's other words that I probably would be using that would get censored by YouTube of what you potentially are coming across as. Do know, in the UK, 16 and 20 is legal, but that's not a talking point. It's not a talking point because, one, it's wrong anyway, and then two, you also need to think about it, don't you? Because there's a certain word called grooming when you fancy someone from such a younger age and you sort of let yourself onto them. But are we glad that she is definitely not ashamed? I don't know how you can't be ashamed. Eden, what are you doing?
Guys, I'm sorry, but come on. Ow! You excited for this play, Mum?
Very excited.
I mean, come on.
Essentially just a 50-second thirst trap for a 16-year-old. What a brilliant thing to bring up. As I said, this video is from 2020 when she was a much smaller creator, so this didn't get picked up, and somehow it just ended up on the For You pages of everyone in the UK on TikTok last week, and from there, it's not really gone well for her because she's had total crash outs. But before I show you these crash outs, apologies and this deflection from what she has done, like literally doing that video that you have just seen, I've given full context. I thought we'd just dabble into some of the other stuff that we have seen around her because this is not a one-off case of her talking about children in this manner, or in fact just being massively sexually inappropriate around children. Eden does have a massive dedicated fan base of haters that go and they collect all of these bits, these little dabbles of information, because of the way that she is, in that she keeps doing this stuff. So really, when her biggest forms of deflection come to, it's out of context, this is a joke, as you'll see, it comes across a bit weird. And I don't know, I'm a bit of a joker myself. I can't really deal with that. Firstly, let's look at her at the Children in Need event, which is a charity event held by BBC every year where they get loads of influencers, celebrities, etc. to come on and do some sort of performance, maybe go and do some odd little bits to raise money for awareness of children in need. It's a massive thing in the UK, it is a charity, and obviously it's children in need. Like, the intentions is that the entire family can watch it. It is about children in need. And somehow, obviously, on this literal children's live stream, EdenHarvz gets invited and she makes a couple of gaffes which really make the head scratch.
So the next question is requested from Eden to actually ask it.
Oh no, I don't think I can, because I think it might get angry at me.
Go on.
I'll be really like PG about it. I'll be very careful how I say it.
Everyone's going to judge
Why are you looking at me?
What's the worst thing you've done for money?
So me and my best friend both ate a hot dog.
Oh.
Right.
Pounds each. We got 400 quid out of that, so that's probably the worst thing I've done.
Like what? Sorry, what? Come again? So whilst we're all there with the children in need stuff on, as you can see, you've got the bear. It's a pretty childish setup intentionally because obviously it's for kids. Eden finds it great when she's asked what's the worst thing that you've done, to talk about eating a hot dog with your best friend. And I think you could insinuate that that means a cock. So the worst thing she's had is a threesome. Well, great. maybe don't say that on daytime TV. Obviously, this is a live stream, but I still find it so weird. I don't understand why she would think that this would be remotely appropriate for something that is raising awareness and raising money for a charity for children. Surely the worst thing you do, like, worst thing I've done, I don't know, I burnt my hand on the stove, something like that. You don't talk initially and go straight to a threesome that you had with someone whilst eating a hot dog. And you could even see it with the awkward laughs that it really wasn't the time or place to be doing it. But that's not the only gaffe that she did in this live stream to raise money for children.
Next question is, who's the most famous lad that's been in your DMs?
In my DMs or inside me. What?
I'm gonna go with both. Yeah.
Both.
I'm gonna go with both.
That's an egg, surely.
Like, it's genuinely baffling. Like, the ability to sense a room and see what you can say or what you should potentially say. It's definitely not talking about having men in you on a Children's in Need charity event. And it's not like the joke was even really set up for it, was it really? Like, who's the worst that you've had in your DMs, or like the most famous? It's not really something that you can quickly extrapolate to on me or in me. Like, why do you need to do that? What are you trying to prove? I just find that these sort of jokes, obviously they're just a piss take. Everyone does them, but they don't do them on a charity event for children, especially when a lot of people are watching that are children and there's much more to go through. Because I do find her very creepy and inappropriate around kids, or also, as you've just seen, doing stuff around kids, such as the way that she in this clip talks to her little niece, which you can tell is a very young child.
Okay, and I'll leave you there, yeah?
Bring your phone with you.
Yeah, I'm going to take my phone with me. I'm not going to leave them listening to you stretch your anus for an hour.
Obviously, they're talking about the child going to the toilet, but the use of the language, stretch Uranus, what? It's on a live stream, it's off the cusp, it's just something that she just innately does, and very evidently it's a young child that really doesn't need to hear that kind of language. Like, I know it's not really terrible language saying anus, but Eden, in a lot of her videos, is very sexually open, and we will cover that sort of thing around her, and by using this, it's clearly an intentional term to play on that sort of thing, that sexual aspect, which once again, when you're talking to a child, it comes across as really weird, doesn't it? It's once again very inappropriate, very odd. There's just no need to be doing it, is there? You've seen it at the start, you've seen it just then, and there's plenty more to get through around her just being weird like this, but I thought I'd give you one more example here where she's talking to, in this instance, her nephew on TikTok Live again.
Sit down, gay boy. Do I look nice when I wear? Like, what clothes do I look nice wearing?
I don't know.
You look a bit like you should be on the register if it's like that, so I think...
What's the register?
You know in school, when they take the register?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Just telling a kid that they look like a certain type of file. Just, yeah, obviously. And then when he asks the question, you give some sort of fake answer and then laugh about it because obviously TikTok's going to be pissing themselves at it. I feel like the only child catcher in this sort of room is you, Eden. It's just, once again, very inappropriate. Shouldn't be said.
Imagine your mummy being a sister. You just want to... Your mummy's lovely. Oh, Callie, girly, twirly, you look like a Russian whore. You look beautiful.
Can you try to take?
Yeah. Right, Callie, you look stunning. You look like Caroline Flack.
They're just obviously telling the niece that you look like a prostitute. What a great thing to say to a child. I'm not sure as well that is, you know, a bit of a compliment, really. I'm not sure, Eden, if you grew up and you thought that was a redeeming quality in someone, but it's not really something that is looked up at. Her argument for all of these kind of clips is that, oh, it's just funny, and I don't find it funny. I could sit here and laugh at it about how absurd it is, but why would you even think of saying something like this to a kid? And obviously, in all of these clips, I can imagine that she's playing up to the camera because it's all on TikTok Live, and she's trying to make this a sort of funny thing, but I don't really know. It could go two ways. It could be that she's even worse outside of the TikTok lives. I've got more of this, but onto the crash out, because she did respond to this initial video that I showed you. Because obviously saying that you overtly fancied a 16-year-old when they were 10 or 11 really cannot be misconstrued in any way. Like, there's no way that anyone would spin that. Because it's quite literal in what you say, innit? But it turns out it was all a joke and you're all just being weird about it. And it starts off with this classic here.
Do you know what's really winding me up about my paedophile era is, firstly, that's a hook I never thought I'd be using. Secondly...
Yeah, what a hook, line and sinker you've used for engagement. Why would you even joke about that yourself? If you find it so disgusting, you're not going to go and call yourself being in a era, are you? Why would you ever do that? Plus, this is a clip that was resurfaced 4 years ago, so now you're actually responding to it. You say that this is an era. What, so if you had 4 years of this era then? It's just absolutely outrageous, isn't it? Like, why would you even present yourself in this sort of way?
Firstly, that's a hook I never thought I'd be using. Secondly, you don't listen. Okay, right? So when you say she needs to readdress this because it obviously wasn't taken seriously enough. Okay, sorry you weren't there when it first happened, nearly 6 years ago, okay? I apologised to the boy at the time, and he was like, I don't care, like, I know I'm not 10, you're not 8 years older than me, like, understood, and was like, it's just like, is that the f***ing police?
Oh, is that the police? They're going to come and arrest me for literally making a joke. That's it. To me, this comes across initially as really dismissive because she said, you don't understand. And also, she mentions the dates here. I'm almost certain that this clip is from 2020, but I'm happy to be proven wrong. But the best case scenario here is that there is literally an 18-year-old that is fawning over a 16-year-old that has said explicitly that they were attracted to them when they were 10 or 11, which really doesn't paint a good picture whether or not you've apologised or anything that's gone on there. And what, because you apologise privately to that one person, that means that what you said is totally fine and that you are perfectly fine just getting away with it and scrolling on with it? It's really weird. Why would you think anything otherwise?
I don't know why, like, you just don't joke about that. But this is what I'm saying. I said that in my statement yesterday, and I said it before as well. You don't joke about that. It's not funny. It's not shock factor. There's so many other things. I was trying to be like Jimmy Carsh, like, what did she just say? And it landed as Jimmy Savile. And I will carry that. But you guys don't see the part where I'm saying, like, how wrong it is and all of this. You just see the part where what I'm saying is you don't want me to address stuff.
Well, I did see the part where it was wrong. I overtly saw that. You said that it's wrong, but you're doing it anyway. And the problem is with stuff like this is that say that she's trying to be a comedian with it. Well, one, it wasn't very funny, but even if it was funny, the extent of what she did where she went and she showed the guy first trapping over him, like, she went a little bit too far for, you know, just a simple joke. And I don't understand why she's like, oh, well, you guys don't see the full context. Like, everyone saw it. They literally saw it. Like, how are you trying to paint it otherwise?
You don't. Like, you just want your narrative and to tear me apart all the time. That's all you want, genuinely. You thrive off of it. Honestly, no judgment. Go for it, okay? But this, I know never to joke about that. Ever again. Okay, right? The stuff I joke about with my friends, the most fucked up shit. I have zero filter. I don't, like, away from my phone now, not before, I didn't give a what I said. I literally did not give a flying fuck.
So, an explanation for saying it is that she doesn't give a shit. shit about it. That's a really good way to look at it. Everyone obviously says worse jokes with their friends, obviously, but it's different when you're first trapping over someone. Like, it is a big difference there. And then also, literally, it's a child. You're saying that you are attracted to someone when they were 10. I don't think in any context I would ever make a joke that I was attracted to a 10-year-old. I think there's a little bit of a discrepancy in a line there, which gets crossed even into, like, edgy humour. Like, pretending to be that type of person. What? If that's what you do in your circles, fair enough. And you're also saying, oh, well, people just want to paint a narrative. Well, there is a literal narrative there because you have created it by making that TikTok yourself a couple of years ago. It's not really a narrative that everyone is looking at out of context. Genuinely baffles the mind.
I joke about murder. Am I a murderer? No. But what I'm saying is, like, you don't want to hear my piece. You just want to go with your own, she's not safe. Like, are you joking? Are you actually joking? Listen to what you're saying.
Well, when you add on what I've also shown you, which are other clips from her, and then also ones that we'll get into further, there does become a little bit of a safeguarding issue there, Eden, unfortunately, because what you have done is you have gone out and you've said this stuff, which is just crazy. Even if it's a joke or not, everything is very evidently a joke there, but you're saying very inappropriate things around kids, and now you're saying inappropriate things at kids as well. And that is a safeguarding issue, because would I want, for example, if I had a child, someone to be talking in that manner to them, especially when they're not their mum or dad? No, not at all. And it doesn't matter if you find it funny, it doesn't matter if you do this stuff all the time, it comes across as weird. And now I genuinely don't think that she is potentially this dirty creep that people are saying and insinuating that she is actually doing this stuff, saying that she fancies 10-year-olds. I think it was a terrible joke, but it doesn't matter if it was a joke or not. What she said was disgusting, and she's now, instead of actually just coming out apologising, saying it, it's just like, you're all trying to paint a narrative, and you do you. Well, you don't do what you're doing.
I'm sorry, I'm not doing this fucking going into hiding because you're being cancelled online. People are worried for your safety. She's manipulating us, guys. I know you're not manipulating me, Eden. Who the fuck do you actually think I am? Are you nuts? You have got me so wrong, and that is what gives me comfort, is that I know exactly who I am. My friends and family know exactly who I am, okay? I have said some fucking outrageously dumb shit when I was younger, but I will show up every single day for the people. I will show up every day for the people that I fucking love.
This is another typical tactic that you see a lot of influencers do when they're caught in scandals or troubles. It's like, this isn't what I am. This isn't who I am. All my family know who I am. Well, yeah, they do, but we also just exactly saw what you said. And you're going to show up for the supporters nonetheless, and you're going to be there for them. Well, wouldn't that be funny if you went on multiple breaks after this? Yeah, that did happen. And not only that, she has disabled all of her comments across all of her TikToks, because obviously, if you have no problem with people spreading this stuff about you, you say you do you and you're just spreading your narrative, obviously, disabling your comments is a perfect way to treat that. It really makes you seem like you don't care. And then also when you go on breaks, it really makes you seem like you don't care, doesn't it? It's also like just blatantly very condescending to the actual person that's listening to this as well. It just looks brilliant, doesn't it?
Stick through me. That's why I show up. I don't show up for the money because there's barely any of that anymore. Okay, not allowed to say that. Fine. I will show up for the people that stick by me, and I really enjoy doing this, and you're not going to ruin it for me. Honestly, video after video after video, I will still show up because that's who I am. Lastly, I've just been informed that I didn't make it very clear that nobody was ever 10 and I'm not 8 years older. So let me make that clear to you now. Nobody was ever 10 years old. And I am certainly not 8 years older than this person.
Glad you cleared up that you're going to show up, and also that, yeah, this person definitely wasn't 10 years old. Well, it doesn't matter. It was the way that you said it, because you literally said that you fancied them since they were 10 or 11. And whether that's a joke or not, it's still really, really odd, isn't it? It's creepy. As the caption of this video did state, like, there is absolutely no, like, remorse at all for anything, it really seems. That she's just having a go, saying that all the people that support me are with me. You lot don't know me like that, even though, well, you posted it. It doesn't matter if you know you like that, you posted it. And that she will not be cancelled, i.e. judged by the actions of what she's done. We also have multiple stories on Instagram around it, because obviously she's going to address the accusations that come up, affirming at the time that this was something that was entirely just trying to be extreme humour and shock value to gain attention online, only realising now how inappropriate and thoughtless the words were, and she's mortified. Well, yeah, I'm glad glad you realise that now, but it did happen and people did hear it, and that's not going to go away, is it? And when you couple what she just said there with how dismissive and angry she sounded in that initial response video, it doesn't really add up, does it? It looks like you're just trying to get away from it. With her then saying as well, I want to be clear, there is obviously never any truth behind what I said. I thought this would be evident if I posted it myself. Like, what? You can say whatever you want, but as long as you posted it, you can tell that it's wrong and that you were taking the piss. Like, what is she actually chatting there? That is so dumb. I think people are judged by their words and their actions, and, well, you've shown your words and your actions there quite clearly, and it didn't seem evident to me, at least, that it was a joke. It felt like you were trying to explain your way out of a situation. It didn't seem like that at all. With the bottom paragraph, the actual person that it was referring to, this 16-year-old, saying, "Hi Eden, absolutely no worries. I wasn't offended at the time and still not. I thought you would have addressed it a long time ago anyway. Don't worry about me at all. Hope you're okay." Which, to me, I don't understand why she keeps doing this as like a cop-out, like the person's fine with it, so then it should be fine. Well, no, because you posted this publicly, this first trap around a 16-year-old, saying that you've answered him since you were 10 or 11. It's not really how it works. Also then with the usual stuff about having grown a lot since then, I hope everyone could see that, more mindful and responsible with my words and action, and that she tries so hard to better herself now and who she is now, and people just bring up stuff from the past that I've already dealt with. Well, if you've grown a lot since then, why would you be having a go at everyone for seeing this clip out of context, apparently, and then being infuriated by it? Because obviously that is something that is not going to be normal, and people aren't going to look at it right, are they? And then by doubling down and saying, "Oh, you don't understand me, you don't know who I am, my family knows who I am." Well, maybe show that. Because, for example, in this initial thing here, throughout the entirety of this apology, there is no sorry. It's an address because you lot don't understand the actual context to it. So I'm giving you the context, so you look at it whatever way you want, but this is the right way. Just totally ignoring everyone else around her that would see it otherwise, including myself. It's just so potentially up your own arse, like you are legitimately just thinking that you are in the right no matter what, and that everyone else is wrong. Which also spawned so many other people, TikTokers, influencers, talking about this, because obviously, as you saw, it's not a video that really should be on the internet. For example, here saying how it feels seeing a video of an influencer speaking about fancying a child as if it's normal behaviour that people would agree with. And then signing off a statement by saying, "Oh, when will all this hate end?" Well, maybe when you actually address the situation and you apologise for it and you seem to understand why people are so riled up about it. And it's what baffles me with this situation, that it really didn't get addressed properly. It was more of a, "Who the fuck do you think I am?" which is gonna come across terribly anyway, and you never actually say sorry for the situation. And despite her saying that she really is loving social media and she does this for her followers and that she's never gonna leave, she did. Say just a couple of days ago from this, "I've had the best 5 years of my life on social media. You guys changed it all for me. It's been a roller coaster, all the faces I see, the people I love fearlessly, relentlessly, and never wavered." And then obviously a lot more gratitude stuff about how thankful she is for it all. And say, "For my own future and mental health, I'm stepping back from it all. I've been wanting to do this for a while anyway. I need to live life, my real beautiful life. I'll be back now and then, but for now, that's all, folks. I love you all forever. Don't forget that. Goodbye for now." So this instance, this drama that really did escalate, seemed to have kicked her off. Yeah, obviously, it's gonna go. She didn't address it, so it ended up being more drama, and then from that, she decided to leave, which... she does have a very big coincidence where she does this quite a lot. And my presumption is she gets overwhelmed with it, with her being in certain dramas and scandals and stuff. She then leaves and then comes back about a week later, in this instance, 5 days later, from saying that she's gone forever. Because, yeah, it must have been a bit much, for example, with 100,000 people leaving her actual TikTok, which, when she's been on 3 million followers roughly for the past 3 years, that is a lot of people. And then also noticing that she has deleted quite a lot of her videos as well, with 12.8 million likes got in one day. That's coincidentally just when this stuff came out. We can only wonder and potentially think about the kind of videos that have been deleted, which may help her PR a little bit. But it is just baffling to me, really, the way that she's handled all of it. It really didn't go well, and it still hasn't. And approximately 10 days later, after this, she has released yet another apology video going through everything after the crash out that she had experienced. And I'm sure she's had PR training during this 10 days, must have done. You just know that the handling of this has been a bit terrible when there has been 2 subsequent apology videos, don't you?
Good afternoon. I just wanted to come on and chat to you guys a bit, just to speak about everything that's been going on in the situation regarding me, state a few facts, get a few things straight, and...
I don't want to be a bit condescending, but I think she said that one before.
The first and most important thing that I want to get out is I am 26 years old, and the boy in this video that I was speaking about now is 22. So we are 26 and 22. I have never known him since he was 10 or 11, and I was never 18 fancying a child. To have to say those words is absolutely disgusting. But this is the bed I laid for myself from making that disgusting statement in that video years ago.
Just note the change from you guys don't have a fucking clue what you're on about to then saying that. And then also just loop it back around. She's 26, so it was nearly 6 years ago. She was 20 or 21, saying that she had a first trap for a 16-year-old. And the idea of her saying that is really bad. Well, you're still saying that you fancied a 16-year-old. Let's just ignore the 10 to 11 bit. Yeah, it's a bit odd. I also don't get why she's caught up so much in this, it wasn't true. Well, it wasn't true. Yeah, okay, it was all a joke. Well, you still said it. It's still a problem, and you're still acting like you normalise it, whether or not you think it's a joke or not. Very right in saying that it's the bed you laid in, you literally created this, but let's remember that.
My first apology is about how I went about this a couple of weeks ago. My instant kind of defence or coping mechanism when it feels like the world is kind of closing in on me is a off. You know, are you joking? Like, I have this attitude where I'm just, rather than facing something head on, I have this tendency just to be like, oh, are you serious? Are you actually doing this? Because to me, I know the facts, I know the truth, and I know the situation, and so does this person I'm speaking about. So it's really difficult for me. I'm like, why would I go and say to a bunch of strangers? And like, it's obvious that it's not true, but it's not obvious. And there are people watching this who would feel genuine concern, firstly. Secondly, there are victims who have gone through actual pedophilia. Just when I see that video, I'm so far removed from that person because I've spent years growing and knowing what's okay to say, what's not okay to say, when to stop, when to carry on. And
I have a couple of inconsistencies there. So you're so removed from that person, but then you're also telling people to F off at the start of stuff. You're also so removed from that person, but then you still did that joke, and then you also didn't apologise at the time for what you actually did. It's more of a, oh, well, understand my experience. Well, you should be media trained. You've got 3 million followers, but not even like media trained. You should understand in a certain situation when you are addressing someone. It's the exact same way as speaking to a person at a house party, for example, that you're having a bit of a spaff with. It's just normal convention, and I can understand that you might struggle to do that at times, but at the same time, there has been quite a lot of scandals that have come your way in the past that you should surely understand a little bit better how to treat these sort of things. Because to say you've grown so much as a person, you have the exact same sort of reaction as what you did in multiple occasions, multiple years. That doesn't seem like growth, that seems like stagnation.
I think being a human being is about growing and learning and making mistakes. I also just state I do not know this person personally, as in like I've never had a face-to-face conversation with them. They're just someone that's in my cousin's plays that I've gone to see every now and then. It's not someone that's like I've seen often, seen them maybe 4 times in my whole life. And certainly not when they were 10, 11.
Once again, it don't matter, you still said it, innit? You also was still first trapping a 16-year-old whilst you was 20. Whether or not this is a normal moral thing to do about the other bit, you still did that bit. That's the facts that I'm seeing in my face. Why can't you see that too?
It's annoying because the power you guys have and the strength in numbers, and you could all come together for something really good in this world, or chasing actual pills. But again, the statement I made in that video was completely inappropriate, and for anyone affected, I'm genuinely sorry. It was not true.
So I'm sorry, after the fact you cut in that bit of you saying, well, with all of you that are going and attacking me, you could actually be doing something good in the world instead. Like what when you try and you can't counteract that by straight after saying, for everyone who genuinely was affected, I'm sorry. But if you were affected, you could have been chasing better things. Like, what? It's such a deflection point, and it's so stupid. It's like literally getting in any scandal. If anyone has a scandal in the future, what? We could just say, oh, but there's wars going on in the world. You should go and look at them instead. You could be doing action, but instead you're putting a TikTok comment on. Well, okay then. Why don't I, instead of helping you by watching your content and giving you money through that way, why don't I just ignore you and run off? I just find this attack line so stupid, and also it's just disingenuous to add that whilst you're doing a genuine apology.
messages and comments every day saying, I pray you can't have babies because you'll either fuck them or kill them. And I just think that is the most, firstly, horrific thing I've ever read, to, like, message-wise. So that kill it thing they're talking about is when I was on a live stream and I was just trying to make everyone be like, Eden, like that kind of, because that's what my live streams used to be. My live streams were always me saying outrageous shit and people being like, Eden, oh my god, Eden, like, and laughing along, like we were just really dark, like funny people together.
Just because it's a couple of years ago and because you've grown as a person since then, it doesn't mean that it's right, which obviously you have kind of admitted to there, but you kind of haven't. And it also doesn't mean that it's something that you should be going on about. And then she's also addressing one clip that has come up and become more viral, but there's also loads of stuff, some of the stuff I've shown you already, and some of the stuff I'll show you after, which, once again, it proves even further that you are a weirdo and you're a creep. Just because it's a shock factor, it's edgy humour, you just wouldn't understand it. It doesn't mean that it's right or that you should be saying this stuff on live, on TikTok live, on YouTube videos, whatever. You shouldn't really be projecting yourself in this sort of way, and I don't understand why she can't get that. I'm glad you've grown as a person. If you have genuinely grown as a person, I'm glad you've done that. But also take accountability, which is what you're trying to do here. But then you're also hitting in every so often the, you could be doing better things. Well, we could. If we all did productive things, none of us would be on TikTok.
It's just everything I'd ever want. I hope people that are regular followers see my relationship with my nephews and my nieces, and they see how close we all are, and being an auntie is the best thing. I am genuinely sorry for that first video you saw from years ago. It was disgusting, distasteful and inappropriate. And I completely take full responsibility for that. And to any victims or anyone who saw that and felt disturbed, I hope you now understand that there was no truth behind those statements and it was just me being distasteful, and again with the latter.
And there's a lot more of her being edgy and distasteful. She's going through a pedophile era, apparently. It baffles the mind. It does. I don't understand how someone could crash out in this sort of sense and then try and pull it back. Constantly reminded us that, well, it's not true. Well, it's not true. Well, you said it.
So I'm not off social media because of the hate. I'm off social media for my own private, real life. I'll be back every now and then, post every now and then, but for now, I hope you are well, and I love you very much, and I hope this clears up at least something for you. I do not expect you to accept any apologies or anything.
Not expected to accept every apology, but then you have gone on and said, well, people just don't know because you know the facts. Well, people could be doing better with their lives, so why don't we just accept it? Personally, to me, this one is a much more mature stance looking at it, but it's still littered with things which make it very disingenuous. Whether or not what I think she's done is wrong, what she said was crazy, and it really didn't need to be said, and the way that she's handled this was a pure calamity. And now, from looking in the past, I can see that she has had multiple instances where she disappeared and she's come back, so she's definitely not leaving forever, but it is just a notable point for her to reference, looking back in the glass, because you've grown so much as a person, but then you say you're in your era. But as I've said with Eden, there has been multiple things that have been brought up in the past which make her seem more creepy or weirder. I've already shown you some of the stuff already, but it's safe to say that with me even omitting quite a few things from this video, there is still a lot of drama around her. One of the first things that she did get in trouble for in around 2020-2021 was when she was working two jobs, one of them at a taxi rank and the other one being basically looking after a vulnerable person in the form of like being a trip buddy, being around whilst they are being driven to somewhere else, for example.
I work for a taxi company. However, I also have another job. I'm an escort. Not that kind of escort. Sorry. Whenever I tell people that, they're like, what? How much? No, I'm a passenger assistant to kids with disabilities. When you say you're an escort for disabled kids, it doesn't go down well, so you just say passenger assistant.
Once again, just a weird thing to say, really. Just another sexual innuendo that gets dabbled along things that she does. But it's not like her to be inappropriate with children. But then it gets even worse because with this, she constantly complains at the time around a certain person that she was looking after for just being a bit rude, which, considering it's a vulnerable child, they might not be in the best state of mind and they might not be the most enjoyable person to be around. That's quite understood, innit?
But the boy I'm with at the moment has no disabilities. I'm just doing it for the council. And he's just a prick. No, I can't say that. But he is. Today, coming home from school, and he turns to me and he goes, I hate your eyelashes, Eden. Thank you. Thanks. You know, sometimes I look at you and I think you're just so fucking ugly.
Obviously, just having a joke about a work situation. I don't necessarily think this is a bad thing. I think to maybe put that online where the kid could potentially see it might be a bit of a bad step. I don't think that's right, but fair enough. But the problem that it becomes is not only did she talk about this person and talk about this vulnerable person, is that she actually technically broke the law by recording the person, goading them on whilst they're in the car together, which is definitely against what you are allowed to do in the job of what she was doing, because you are looking after vulnerable people. But for the sake of TikTok likes, she thought that this was fine to do.
You think I'm weird?
Yeah.
That's because I am, baby. You think I need to be put in a home? In a nutty home?
Yeah.
Try and say one nice thing to me. Go on, one nice thing, just try.
Remember, once again, this is a child that has to do this. They have to have this passenger in the car, and they don't really like the person. So why are you goading them on? Why are you making it more of a problem for them when clearly they don't really want to be there in the first place? She didn't actually really get in trouble for this one. I just really find it ridiculous that she clearly just didn't listen to the job role. She didn't understand that what she was doing was potentially bad, and she was just sharing a child on the internet, once again, that was in a bit of a precarious position, and definitely didn't want to be stuck with her. And I'm not going to lie, at this point of the video, I'm kind of feeling the same way about her. Because if I just want to get to A to B and I've got this in my ear just saying, oh, give me one good thing you like about me, I would lose my head, I'm not going to lie. It just seems really wrong to put this online, yet alone the fact that half of what she's done there and literally posting the actual clips with the kid is definitely not right and against her actual job role. But with Eden, she likes the edgy jokes, she likes the hard humour, she likes the hard-hitting humour, and it's very evident throughout the entire thing that you see with her, she loves to do that. And a lot of her content is overtly sexual in nature, which, as I would say, it probably isn't that much of a bad thing, really. A lot of people do it on TikTok, but when you're around kids doing it, that's when it gets weird. But it's very evident in a lot of her stuff, you'll see her say stuff like this.
On the subject of water, whenever I'm in a swimming pool and I pass one of the jets, can't help but just do a little, you know? We've all been there.
Which, yeah, it's a bit of a shit joke, but it is still a joke, and I don't see a problem with it at all, unlike what a lot of people do. But it is also evident that EdenHarvz does have quite a young audience, with quite a lot of her stuff that you see in photos of her, videos of her, whenever she does like events and things. It's a very young audience. And this line gets breached once again into the creepiness when she starts to talk about sexual education.
I would love to achieve, like, going into schools and speaking on, like, things that teachers make really awkward. For example, sex. They make it really awkward. You feel like when you're in school, you don't even want to say the words. You're not going to ask your 57-year-old science teacher, like, what this feels like and what this feels like.
Which, I mean, obviously is a true sentiment. It is something that is awkward, but it is also something that is done in a school program as is. And then you kind of go in and learn about it afterwards. But Eden, unfortunately, doesn't really get this sentiment, and it just gets weird. For example, in this previous live that she was doing, where she was giving relationship advice to children, which I think is a very murky water. I don't think that people, influencers, should be really doing that with the power dynamic that they have. It definitely should come from a more viable source.
I was like kind of like speaking with this boy, but like not really. But like then I started to lose interest with him, but like I feel like he still likes me, but I don't know what to do.
You just have to let him down gently. So I had a very... Sophie, nice to meet you. What did you want to know?
So when you're at school and you start...
If you have like a lighter flow, a heavier flow, and if you...
As you can see, giving relationship advice, but I just find that slightly odd. But then, in the exact same stream where it's very evident there has been multiple people on live which are children, she starts then talking about sex toys, which I think for a family influencer sort of vlogging lifestyle makeup inspiration, I don't really think that's your merit. And also with all the other stuff around it, it then comes across as weird, doesn't it?
Speaking on a female behalf, because I don't know how to pleasure yourself as a male. I give a great blowy, but I don't know anything past that. I personally cannot orgasm from being penetrated, and I'm sure a lot of people who have had sex or have pleasured themselves, I know there's a lot of people who haven't, but I'm here to educate you for when you grow up. Think like, oh, why don't I orgasm from like penetrative sex, you know? I never have. I fake it left, right and centre. I'm like, ah! Feel nothing.
I really wanted to know if she faked her orgasms. Fuck's sake. But like, let me just reiterate that this is the stream straight after she has just had people on who were then coming on as kids getting relationship advice. She's there talking about that sort of stuff. And I find that really weird. I'm not going to lie. I find that a little bit too far for someone who's just supposedly a day-in-the-life vlogger. And especially as well when these kids are not only going on these TikTok lives, they are exposing themselves to talk about these sort of things whilst on live with thousands of people watching. I just don't get it. And I don't really understand what she's trying to achieve by doing this stuff straight after talking to a load of kids about relationships.
Can I get my toys out is the question. Like, is that weird? No. So, my favourite toy is this. Okay, this is a clitoral simulator, and I got this from Amazon.
It just doesn't sit right with me at all. And I know that there is definitely some nuance about this, like sexual openness is definitely something that should be talked about. It should be more available and understanding to people. But in my opinion, when you cross the boundary of doing that on a TikTok live for literal children, I find that goes a little bit past the depth. Especially when you sat there pretending to fake an orgasm. Like, what? When it becomes a bit of an amalgamation of problems, that's when it gets odd. And the innuendos don't stop around the kids. They never do. Because it's funny, it's part of the joke, innit? And then there's other stuff as well, where she does the exact same thing. She's just way too sexually open in public. You saw the sausage clip at the start, and I think this one might even take the cake. Because she's speaking like this, evidently around children.
Yeah. Well, I woke up with such bad cramps and I was like, have I got diarrhea? And then I went to the toilet and it was just like poured out of me and I thought it was your cum. It's still on live, by the way. But it was period.
She does have a way with words, doesn't she? She really does. It's just so eloquent. To be honest, I find the frank nature of saying this on a TikTok live just in general really weird. I don't like that. It's a bit uncomfortable. But then also the fact that there is a kid in the background, that's when it really does change in it. It's just so inappropriate to be speaking like this around children. The live don't need to hear it. The child definitely does not need to hear that or even have the ability to potentially hear it, because the easy comeback here could be, well, we were in private. Well, you kind of was, but then also you were on TikTok. It's just not on, in my opinion. It's just weird. And I don't know why she does this again and again and again, because yet there is another instance of it where she's just oddly weird around kids.
Okie dokie.
On my aunties.
Gonna go on your knees.
Yeah. So it's a little bit easier.
Just like your auntie. Lovely. Hey. Okay. That'll do.
It's better.
I'm glad you guys got that joke.
It's just inappropriate to me, and I just find it really wrong, and she needs to stop. There is so much proof as well that, like I said, with the way that she acts, having an audience which is majoritively children, once again, it's just a little bit odd. And then flexing them online as well with all of the people that are coming to visit her for these certain events that she's holding. And mind you as well, this is without mentioning the majority of other scandals that she's been in and the way that she weaponizes her mental health as well by talking about certain conditions that she has that she potentially has been diagnosed with, potentially hasn't been. I think when you just collect over the course of years all these weird things that have been said by her around children, all the weird stuff that she's been saying when she's in a position where she definitely shouldn't be saying it, it just is really odd. And I just don't understand why she thinks that this is something that is just funny and normal and cool. And I understand she wants to project her own personality and this is what she is, but then again, she should understand the situation that she's in. She's around a child. Maybe I shouldn't just make a sexual remark all the time for TikTok. But at the end of the day, that's what I think it is. I think it is just all intention for her to clip farm potentially, or to just say a funny joke which will get a couple of laughs in the TikTok comment section. But by default, by her doing that, she's also exposing herself to giving some very weird stuff that she shouldn't be saying or doing around kids. And I think this drama has perfectly encapsulated how she is at the moment and how everything is going on social media for her, because it's not going very well because of the stuff that she's been saying. But something I've noticed a lot of people haven't actually really highlighted all of the stuff together, and there is also in these circles with EdenHarvz, where they have these dedicated haters, there's a lot of stuff which are just blatant lies or they're made up, such as, for example, talking about how her ADHD diagnosis isn't real purely because she got it online. There is a problem in the UK with specific things like that, but for example, I had mine entirely done online, and it was a 6-7 hour process of being talked to, and the symptoms were there. So, and I don't deny at all that she does have ADHD, and it probably would explain why she doesn't think about some of the actions that she has and the consequences of doing them. But does that mean it's right? Obviously not. And does that mean that that she is in the clear for all of this? No, it doesn't. And it would have been much easier for her if she just got up and apologised for what she did, but instead she obfuscated the truth in what she said, and then she also went on a big rant about how people could be doing stuff better with their lives. Well, they could be, but they're not, and if they were, they wouldn't watch you, full stop. No one would watch you. No one would be watching me. It'd be pointless. This is the thing. People do stuff in lives which are exactly, their form of like perfect people. Everyone's imperfect, everyone makes mistakes. Eden's done it in this instance, and I think what she said was very, very wrong, and it's taken her too long to get to that point. And so from this, she genuinely does become the better person that she's saying that she is, and maybe she does take some time off TikTok. It'll probably do you a lot of well, seeing as the negativity on TikTok is genuinely insane. But it doesn't stop her from coming across and looking like a proper creep. But what do you lot think? Please do let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed the vid, please do hit the like button and subscribe, because I would love to see you back. But for now, this is the next TikTok creep scandal undone. I've been Baz, and I'll see you later. Take care.